What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So I just finished watching episode 15 of season 1 of Dragon Ball. My reaction will be under my YouTube memberships. If you, are new here, you don't know what that is. I've got 2 levels of memberships under my channel for those of you who want a few extra perks from me. So for $2.99 a month, you get priority replies from me, special polls, live streams. Level 2 is for $4.99, and you get everything that level 1 has. Plus, you get all of my reactions to all the shows I watch, all the movies I watch, and all of my uncut Try Not to Laughs. So go over there and check that out. And if you do choose to support, I greatly appreciate it. Now, in this episode, oh, that Master Roshi is something else. So Goku and Krillin are out looking for a girl for Master Roshi because he will not teach them anything until they come back with a girl. So they're going out looking for a girl. In the meantime, we see that there's this saloon with a whole bunch of cowboys and stuff. And so you know how those wanted posters are posted up in these saloons where there's one, it's a girl, and her, I mean, she's got a price over her head for like $2 million. So at some point, you know, the guys are talking or whatever, and they're having a few drinks, and a girl shows up, but it's not her. So she walks up and she sits at the bar, and the guy over there who really wants that, her name is Launch, who wants Launch's head really bad. Well, who wants the reward for finding her really bad. He's like, oh, you're not her, but he offers to get her a drink, and she's all nice and everything. She's got all this purple hair, and she walks in with like a suitcase or whatever. So she's like all nice and sweet and stuff like that. So they're sitting there kind of talking. All the guys in there are talking about, you know, how bad Launch is and how they really need to find her. All of a sudden, this girl that walked in there sneezes, and then Launch appears, who is blonde and looks a little bit different than her. So she goes in and she's like kicking everybody's behind. So at that point, she's at the door. She's holding the same suitcase that the other girl came in with. And I'm just like, I noticed, I'm like, she has the same bag. And I'm like, are these, this other girl, you know, was pretending or whatever? But then later on, I realized that every time she sneezes, she turns into the other girl. So it's the same person. So anyway, so while she's trying to get away, she's on this bike, she gets followed by these police officers. So they're chasing her down, and finally they stop. And in the meantime, Goku and Krillin are still looking for a girl. So they're flying around, and all of a sudden, when Launch gets stopped, something makes her sneeze. Now she's sitting there as the other girl who's innocent and doesn't know what's going on. So apparently when she turns into this other girl, well, when she turns into her other side, or her other part, she doesn't remember what happened. She knows that the other side of her is mean, is dangerous, but this side of her isn't. So now she's sitting on the ground. The police officer have their guns drawn to her, and she's like, I don't know what I did. She like knows nothing, right? So here comes Goku. Goku's like, oh, she's screaming for help. Maybe we should help her. And Krillin is like, no, that's sometimes not a great thing. So he's like, well, let's go anyway. So he wants to go and be a hero and save her. And I'm like, he has no idea who he's about to save. So he saves her from all the police officers. Meanwhile, Goku kicks their butts because he thinks that she is being attacked by these cops. And, you know, Goku at this point is not very aware of a lot, and he's very naive. He doesn't know a lot. So he basically fought the law and went to go capture this criminal to take her back to Master Roshi. So I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be a mess. So the whole time she's still the good girl. So they're all going on the Nimbus, and, you know, they're going on for the ride, and he's asking Krillin, do you think that, you know, Master Roshi would like her? And he's just like, yeah, you know. So they end up getting over there. When they get over there, they're all standing outside, and it's so funny that in the midst of all this, like Krillin and Goku are having a conversation about how he knows who's a girl and who's a guy, and how Goku doesn't know the difference because everybody just looks the same. So at some point, you see Krillin, you know, taking a pee, and unfortunately, he's peeing on a frog. And here comes Goku. Oh, you are a boy, because he tells Krillin that typically the way that he finds out who's a guy and her girl is a girl is because he has to touch them. And Krillin immediately was just like, just so you know, I'm a boy. So he got that out of the way real quick. So anyway, fast forward to when they got to Master Roshi's house. So he's like calling out for him, and Krillin is like, maybe he's in the bathroom. He was like, well, why would he be taking a bath? Like, that goes to show how young minded and how his innocence is just so like he doesn't get it. And he's like, no, like that's just a nice way of saying he's on the toilet. He was like, oh, you mean like going to take a poo or something like that? I was like, oh my gosh, he's like so innocent. He has like no filter at all. So he's like, all right, I'll go rush him out and tell him to hurry up. So he goes to get Master Roshi. He comes back out. He's like, we got a girl for you. So he's like all in love and everything. And he's looking at her hips and her body and all this other stuff. And so he starts planning all these things in his head, but while being a creep the whole time. So she's like, you better be careful because, the other, she's trying to tell Krillin all the things that is pertaining to the other girl, where she's like, yeah, oh, because he asked her, who were those bad guys? And she was like, those were police officers. He was like, you mean the bad guys that were trying to like hurt you? She was like, no, those are real police officers. Like, she's so innocent too, but she knows that that's not, something's not right. So he's like, oh gosh, like we really beat up police officers. So she was like, you have to be careful because the other side of me, she's dangerous. She shoots guns and all this other stuff. So he didn't believe her. He didn't believe her. All of a sudden, somehow, Goku and Krillin are telling Master Roshi, like, all right, we brought you a girl. Now can you teach us? Now can you start? So he's like, all right, cool. So he goes in the house to go get a few outfits. He comes back out. He's like, put these on. He's like, I'm not putting, one of them I think was like, I'm not putting this on. Launch looks at it and she's like, okay. And she's getting ready to take stuff off. And Krillin is like, you can go inside the house if you want to. And Master Roshi got upset about that. I'm like, he is such a creep. So anyway, she goes in there and comes back out, and they're all wearing like lingerie. Like, it's really weird. She's like, this doesn't seem like it's gonna protect me. And I'm just like, oh my God. And he's just like, I knew these outfits were gonna come in handy someday. And I'm like, this dude is such a creep. So anyway, a bee flies by her. She sneezes and turns into Krillin. Launch. And all of a sudden, she starts shooting her gun at them, puts bullet holes all over them. Then sneezes again and switches back to the good girl. And she's just like holding the gun like, oh my God, did I do something wrong? And he's like, kind of, sort of. So they're sitting there like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? So at this point, he's got to keep his word. And now they're all on this island. They need to learn how to fight. And the girl is there who's also a criminal. So I'm just like, how is this going to work with her switching up like that? Like, I'm hoping that they kind of pick it up so they know not to let her sneeze so she doesn't turn into the bad girl. Unless they use that to their advantage. I don't know. But we'll have to see on the next episode how that all plans out. But anyway, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys thought of episode 15 of season 1 of Dragon Ball. And if you enjoyed my review about it, let me know as well. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to my channel, hit like, share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you guys can get notified whenever I pop up on your feed. I'll see you guys later.